We're looking to speak with Enoch if he's here, please.
Enoch is entitled to his religious belief.
Okay.
And it's really shameful that you're here. You know, he has a constitutional right. We all have to profess and practice our belief. And that's being denied my son. And that's why you're here, really.
We're here under the instructions of the High Court. That's why we're here, because there's an order of committal for Enoch. That's the reason.
From
the High Court, from a judge, Chief Justice. Yep, that's basically who's informed us that there's an order of committal, so that's why we're here.
Yeah, a judge that refuses to honour our Constitution.
Okay.
Yeah, and that refuses to acknowledge the core issue that my son was commanded to call a boy a girl. He was commanded. That's where this is the root of this matter. To use a they pronoun for a boy, which as a Christian he couldn't do. He has a Christian belief. That judge refuses to acknowledge what it's about. This is going on now for 3 years, and we're back again now to the same thing. A refusal to acknowledge that he was commanded to do something that was against his religious belief, and that's really all. That is the situation. That's what it's about.
Do you know where he is?
That's all I have to say about it. He is entitled to his Christian belief. He's entitled to his constitutional right, and that's fair, and that should be for everybody.
Okay, well, I'm just asking a question.
Mm-hmm.
If you know where he is, could you let us know? Or
I've said all I'm going to say to you.
Okay. Thanks very much. Good night.
Who are you there?
4 men now.
No crime to deal with, no Castle Bar.
No crime.
No drugs or anything like that, no to do with.
Our country is a very sad state.
This is private property now, you Rob. Just want to remind the four of you there. You have to guard the van there as well.
Big guard the van now,
Yeah.
4 men.
Four Gardaí here.
And our streets
Late
are...
at night.
Yes.
Yeah. All because Enoch Burke wouldn't call a boy a girl.
This is our Gardaí now, and the streets are full of drugs and crime, and yet we have 4 Gardaí out here tonight, and our country in the trouble that it's in to arrest an innocent man.
People being assaulted.
An innocent man.
Yeah. This is what we have now. Transgenderism. Yeah. Coming in late at night.
Coming in now in the dark of the night. Coming in now in the dark of the night to arrest an innocent man. Because he won't call a boy a girl. That's where we're at now in this country.
The scene at Enoch Burke's home, Gardaí, arriving in the middle of the night, demanding that his father produce him so he could be taken back to prison, is a stark illustration of how dramatically this case has spiraled. What began as a dispute over a teacher refusing to use a student's preferred pronouns has turned into a confrontation between one man and the authority of the Irish court. Burke's refusal to comply with court orders, not just his position on pronouns, is what pushed this situation into a legal standoff. Yet the optics are undeniably powerful. A school teacher who has now spent more than 500 days in jail for a conflict that started in a classroom. It raises difficult questions about the balance between personal conviction, civil disobedience, and the enforcement powers of the state. Whether one agrees with Burke or not, the sheer length of his imprisonment over a matter rooted in speech and identity politics makes this one of the most emotionally charged and polarizing cases in modern Irish public life. A clash where the legal, cultural, and moral dimensions are now impossible to separate.
This is an issue that was largely litigated over here, the broader issue, in the presidential campaign when Donald Trump ran that famous ad saying that Kamala Harris is for they, them, and I'm for you. And so that issue spoke to the broader trans issue. This one is even more narrow because it's about children. And that's where I think you really start to see people get concerned because it's going to have impact on people who don't have the ability to make those kind of decisions. But look, this report, Ben, we've seen this with other reports. This is peer-reviewed. This has liberals on it by all their accounts. And the people are assailing the report. But remember 4 years ago, the science is settled. When you're talking about climate change ending the world, you're talking about the COVID shot and all things like that. So science is only settled when the science supports the left's point of view.
Yeah.
If it's not, God help you, because the people they're going to come after you.
It's funny you mentioned climate change and COVID, because I said to Helen Webley during that interview, I said, I reckon in about 10 to 15 years, people are going to look back on this whole transing children phase and say, well, I never had anything to do with that. Same thing with COVID. So we had, ironically, the COVID inquiry in the UK today, where various stupid findings have been found. But now, 5 years after COVID, people are like, oh no, I never advocated for mandatory vaccinations of experimental gene therapies and so on. I said, I think the same thing will happen with this.
And put people out of work. And ended livelihoods. And then on the climate change, according to some of those reports, you look back 15 or 20 years ago, we're all supposed to be underwater at this point in time.
Snow.
The world's supposed to be over. Meanwhile, people on both sides of the Atlantic are suffering huge electric prices, energy prices. You've got some of the most oil, as the president pointed out, in the North Sea, totally off limits to drilling because of this wacko science. So this is what happens when your science, your quote unquote science, doesn't support the left's point of view. You're just taken to the woodshed, and you've seen it. By the way, the Trump administration, they tried to roll back many things that the Biden administration did over the 4 years, and people forget President Trump was elected for a lot of reasons, but the main one was people felt this country was out of control in a number of different ways, and he came in here and he promised he was going to do the things he's doing, and that's why you see people respond to him.
Yeah, and by the way, just for clarity, before people watching this, shout at the TV calling you or I a bigot, you and me a bigot. I don't care what adult trans people do. If you want to go and chop your genitals off, or you want to live your life as a woman or a man, you do you. Up to you. Just keep yourself to yourself. That's fine. I'm a libertarian really at heart. My issue comes with children. And we've seen now from this HHS report from Robert RFK Jr. that he says, quote, there are significant long-term and often ignored effects of puberty blockers that cause permanent harm. So that's my concern, the children. And now we know this from this peer-reviewed study.
Peer-reviewed is important.
Peer-reviewed. Yeah. So do you not think now the White House, HSS, Kennedy will be, I don't know, maybe they'd like to know about Helen Webley, this British doctor. She's setting up camp here. As I said, she's coming after American kids.
Yeah, well, we'll see. This is an issue that the president, his entire administration, has not shied away from pointing out their differences on the point of view. It's an issue that resonated with a lot of parents across this country, especially as you get beyond that and you have men in women's sports and just the fundamental unfairness that leads to. So this is a broader debate. It's one where, even on the left, by the way, Gavin Newsom, you saw him back in March walk away from some of these views he's had because he understands that this is not a winner with the American public. Yeah. And the left has a lot of things where they're just seen as wildly out to lunch with the middle of this country, and not even the middle of this country, most of this country. This is one of them where they're going to have to get right or they're never going to get elected again.
Do you think that people such as Gavin Newsom, do you think the electorate will remember or forget his kind of antics and his views on things when it comes to 2028, assuming he's a Democrat nominee? He may not be, but
well, California's already got some of the highest electric prices, some of the highest taxes, some of the highest places to live, so he's got a whole lot of baggage he's carrying into this election. I'll give the guy credit, though. He's being transparent about the fact that he wants to run, and based on the complete lack of other contenders on that bench, he's probably got a clean shot at it. But yeah, he's got a whole lot of skeletons in his closet he's going to have to carry into that election.
I know we're a few years out, but final question to you: who are going to be the runners and riders in 28? Dem nominee and Republican nominee. Vance, Newsom?
Well, Vance is the early front runner right now, but then on the Democratic side, that's where all the fireworks are going to be, because you're going to see this wild rush to the left. You're going to see that mayor up in New York City, a communist. He's going to try. Someone like him is going to try and run. And honestly, the energy's there, so they better be careful. They better watch out.
Mamdani, he's in the White House tomorrow.
Should be elected.
Why is Trump meeting him tomorrow?
Well, Trump's a New Yorker. I think people, look, whatever your political differences, I think people expect these people to sit down and have a conversation like this. Yeah. Where it goes, who knows? It should be good TV.
Yeah, definitely.